ASMR Gaming News. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to ASMR Gaming News. Please hit that like button, sit back, relax, and let's begin. So we got a lot of video game news this week. This is the time of year when all the video game companies like to come out and basically make announcements of upcoming games. So a lot of companies come out and say like, oh hey, we have an announcement that we're gonna have an announcement in June for a new game or something. So it's kind of funny, but every year video game companies do this. So let's jump right in. Let's see, what can we start with here? Let's see. Okay, we can start with this one. So the basically the developers for the Persona games at Atlas, they came out this week and were teasing several unannounced titles. So they came out to say, hey, we have some games we are working on for several different games, and they will be coming out later in 2023. So just like I said, announcement of an announcement. So that's already the Persona, developers. Persona is a very big popular series. I'm sure some of you in the comments probably have played a Persona game or at least heard of Persona before. Next, we have Konami. Konami's coming out, and they did the exact same thing, and they teased developments for some familiar series for upcoming unannounced projects. So basically, translating that in easy terms, Konami basically came out and said, oh hey, we are developing games for some very loved series. So that's in the works right now. So we already know Konami's working on Silent Hill. So this could potentially mean that they are working on their other big series like Metal Gear Solid and possibly Castlevania. So we could see a new Castlevania game this year. We might see Metal Gear Solid and Silent Hill, of course. So Konami is teasing new projects, new developments for legendary series that they, make games for. So that's going to be exciting to see what they announce. Yoshinori Kitase over at Square Enix came out to announce that Final Fantasy has a lot of big announcements for 2023. So we already know there's going to be the new Final Fantasy 16 game launching. We already know Final Fantasy 7 Remake is getting a, part 2. And we don't really know what else is coming out. So they say they have unannounced Final Fantasy news for next year, or this year. Apologies, they wrote this in 2022, but it's for this year. That's funny how that works. Next, let's see. I'm trying to go through all the game companies that basically said they're gonna have more news about upcoming games in the future. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I think we got through a lot of the main ones, so we can just go to the video game news for the week here. The Silent Hill 2 remake developers came out this week to say that they are taking a super safe approach to the remake, and that they are not making any changes to the game except making it look better. So that's awesome. A lot of people were a little bit worried when Silent Hill 2 got a remake announced. Everybody started saying like, oh no, they're gonna remove this from the story, or they're gonna change this scene. Well, the developers came out to kind of assure everybody that that's not going to be happening, and the game's going to be exactly the same, at least according to this interview here. So hopefully that ends up being true. We will see when that game comes out. Let's let's see, what else do we got here? Oh, this is pretty cool. So Razer, yes, Razer, you know, Razer keyboards, Razer gamer equipment for like PC and stuff. Chances are you might have, you know, bought a Razer product at some point. I have a Razer keyboard. I think those are the most popular. Maybe mice, people buy Razer mice. Razer keyboards the most. But Razer just launched its first dedicated 5G handheld console. So it's like a small little, like almost like Nintendo Switch device, maybe smaller, more like a PlayStation Vita, but it's like 5G, and the whole thing was like built for like streaming in mind. So you can basically like stream video games to your device when you're outside via the internet, and it's like a really good connection, and you can play all these like amazing video games on this like small little Razer handheld device. It's super cool. It's also very expensive, so unless you are a super Razer fan or rich, chances are a lot of people might not be getting this one, but it looks awesome. Go check it out for yourself. It's called the Razer Edge. I love that name, Razer Edge. But yeah, apparently the cheapest model is like $600. No, okay, the cheapest model is $400, and the most expensive is $600. So it's basically the price of a Steam Deck, which is just insane. But yeah, that's coming out this month, right now in January. Let's see, what else do we got here? PlayStation VR 2 is going to get over 30 games on it at launch. So looks like Sony is really trying to make the PlayStation VR 2 a success. It's launching with like way more games than the original PlayStation VR did. I think when the original PSVR launched, there was like 5 games or 8 games you could play on it or something. But right now they say they'll have over 30 games available for launch. So there's going to be a ton of different games and variety of games that you can play. And a lot of these look like really quality titles. So, you know what? I'm excited. I might have to pick up the PlayStation VR 2. Use that with my PlayStation 5. That's going to be awesome probably. Next. This is a surprise, but I remember hearing about it. So the Gran Turismo game is getting a movie this year apparently, and a trailer for it just came out. So yeah, trailer for the Gran Turismo movie just released. You can check it out. It's on YouTube. Just type in Gran Turismo movie and it should be the first result. And basically this movie is going to tell the story. I forget his name, but basically back in like the early 2010s, like 2011, there was a Gran Turismo like tournament, like video game tournament. A guy entered the tournament and ended up winning, and then he ended up becoming an actual like Formula 1, I think, race car driver in real life. And then he let me see. Okay, he became a real-life race car driver. I don't know if it was Formula 1, but his name is like Jan Mardenborough, and he won the Gran Turismo like Academy tourney like race championship in 2011, and then he actually became a real-life race car driver. So this story was just so amazing that the Gran Turismo like developers and people decided to, you know, create a movie based around this, and apparently Orlando Bloom is in the movie as well, and other actors, so looks super cool. The trailer looked nice. It's gonna be a mixture, I guess, of like video games and real life. So you know, I like movies like Fast and Furious, and I also like movies, you know, more realistic ones. So I'm there for this. This looks exciting. Hopefully it ends up being really good. That's so cool though, that someone played video games and then became a professional like race car driver. Oh man, that must be awesome. Here we go. Let's see, what else do we got here? Fire Emblem Engage. This is the next big Fire Emblem game coming out on the Nintendo Switch. It just got like a 9-minute trailer this week, and Fire Emblem fans are freaking out. The game comes out this year. Looks great, by the way. I have not played a Fire Emblem game since the Nintendo 3DS. I really need to get on one of these new ones. So I might pick up Fire Emblem Engage. Looks really good. The graphics are what like appeals to me the most. I love this like cel shaded style that it has. Great tactical like RPG, strategy RPG. And let's see, Sony this week. I said Sony this week. Sony this week revealed a fully like customizable controller for the PlayStation 5, and it is like an accessibility controller. So this is like super cool. I love when video game companies do this. So Xbox made something like this a while ago, and now Sony made one for the PlayStation 5. Basically, this is a controller that's meant for people that have like disabilities or many other like, disadvantages when it comes to like playing video games. Like, there's people that maybe they don't have fingers, maybe they don't have one hand, maybe they're missing an arm. People could be fully blind, they don't have hearing, and Sony made a controller that's fully customizable for all different types of people. So everybody can play video games with this thing, which is amazing. They did like tons of testing, and it's like amazing. I love stuff like this. So imagine like a kid that was like really sad that he couldn't play games with his friends, like he couldn't play Minecraft on PlayStation 5 or stuff like that. With this controller, he could potentially play any game that he wants, because this controller allows for like easy mobility. If you just have like one hand, if you're missing maybe like a finger or something, maybe you can put a button somewhere else. So it's fully customizable, and it is awesome. I love stuff like this. Super happy that Sony decided to make this. There are like very famous like pro fighting game players that are missing like arms or stuff like that. Or there's like this one guy called Broly Legs, and he fights pro Street Fighter players with his feet. Like he actually uses like his legs on the controller, and he's insane. So I love stuff like that. Just open up, video games for everybody. So this makes me happy, especially with like friends and stuff in like school. I remember there would be like kids that it would like be so sad that they couldn't play games with everybody else, and I would be like, if only this controller wasn't like this, like everybody could use it then. And here we have Sony and Xbox, a few years ago did the same thing. So really, really happy about that. So definitely check that out if you're interested. So cool. And a lot of games, like especially like first party Sony games, like The Last of Us games, Uncharted, they updated those games with like full accessibility options. So if you use this controller with those games, it's amazing. It is an amazing experience. Anybody can play. Let's see, what else do we got here? PlayStation 5s are apparently going to be very, very easy to find in stock this year. So Sony basically came out to apologize for the lack of stock last year and said this year it's going to be different. PlayStation 5s are going to be on the shelves. So if you want one, you're probably going to be able to buy one. And they are already getting close to passing the 30 million milestone of systems sold. So as of like probably in a week or a month, PlayStation 5 is going to pass 30 million units sold. So that's crazy. PS5's doing very, very well, so I'm happy for them. And let's see, do we have any other crazy news? I don't think so. I think we went through all like the big pieces of news for this week, to be honest. But yeah, that's kind of it. We have one final piece of news here about Halo Infinite. So 343, developers of Halo Infinite came out to say that don't worry, they're still on track for the updates and roadmap that they're going to be, continuing to work on for this year. So it's fully on track. They're going to continue working on Halo Infinite. A lot of people were disappointed with Halo Infinite last year. They said it lacked maps and content and things that were promised to be in the game. And 343 acknowledged this, and they're like, hey, we have a roadmap. We're going to be fixing the game, adding content this entire year. So hopefully this makes the fans happy and they actually do a really good job with that. But yeah, that's basically everything in the video game news for this week. So thank you all for listening, for watching, and I'll see you all next time. So long, and farewell.